a very careful and educated middleman in Oscar De La Hoya, who brags about taking the money from the network and being one of the big three. But when it comes time to deliver the biggest fights, he says that Devon doesn't sell. Well, Oscar, last time I checked, you didn't have 5 straight strings of sold.
Oscar De La Hoya recently made a bold statement about Devon Haney's career, saying the young fighter should fire his father and manager, Bill Haney. The former champion claimed Bill has ruined Devon's future in boxing with poor decisions, including the lawsuit after his loss to Ryan Garcia. De La Hoya called it a big mess and accused Bill of turning what could have been a small setback into a major crisis.
Let's talk about Devon Haney now. Devon Haney, you're pathetic. You're dancing around in the bowling alley because you got your decision reversed? Nobody's gonna forget about that beating you took.
According to Oscar, if Devon doesn't take control of his career and separate from his father, his promising future could be lost forever. De La Hoya didn't just blame Bill for 1 or 2 mistakes. He called the situation a complete disaster. Instead of helping Devon move on and focus on getting back in the ring after losing to Ryan Garcia, Oscar said Bill made things toxic by filing a lawsuit against Ryan, Golden Boy, and even the New York Athletic Commission to erase the loss from Devon's record. Oscar claimed Bill made enemies everywhere and turned Devon into the biggest crybaby in boxing history. He said all Devon needed to do after losing last April was admit, "He beat me. I couldn't block his left hook," and then get back to training.
Making a move for Las Vegas. He was leaving Hollywood and LA and all the stars, and he was coming to Vegas. And I knew it was the only way he was going to be able to do it if he teamed up with Devon Haney.
The King's Land.
Instead of moving on from his loss, Devon and Bill Haney spent the year fighting battles outside the ring. De La Hoya didn't hold back, criticizing the Haneys for their mistakes and even mentioning their begging for a payday in London, which he said showed how limited their options were. He went further, calling Bill a pimp for making his son fight the same person who gave him a brutal defeat. Oscar made it clear that the only way Devon can save his career is by cutting ties with his father and manager before it's too late. Bill Haney didn't stay silent and fired back at Oscar, saying, "How about you focus on your paid users and leave father-son business alone?"
Or are you jealous that Devon the Dream Haney is the youngest undisputed champion in the 4-belt era? And that's an era that you participated in. Now,
Bill's response was a direct dig at Oscar's past, referring to Garcia's controversies and De La Hoya's own career issues. This comeback added more heat and another layer of controversy to the situation. While Bill's shot at Oscar's past grabbed attention, it shifted focus away from the main argument about Devon's future in boxing. The debate is far from over, but the real question is what's next for Devon Haney. De La Hoya has made it clear that the only way Devon can save his career is by separating from his father and taking control. But that's easier said than done.
You know, if you mention me, and if you mention me and my seed, I have a right to go after you and your seed. You know what I mean? But that's not the response that I wanted Bill to come back with. I wanted Bill to come back with.
Bill Haney has been a key part of Devon's career from the very beginning, and their bond is more than just business. It's a father-son connection. Breaking that bond would be a tough decision for anyone, especially when your father has always been there for you. However, De La Hoya's harsh words might be the wake-up call Devon needs to rethink his future in boxing. Meanwhile, as De La Hoya and Bill trade insults, Devon's career hangs in the balance. Devon's current is what his future hangs, and the perils he is in to his future. His upcoming fight against Jose Ramirez on May 2nd could decide if he gets a rematch with Ryan Garcia later this year. It's not just about winning for Devon. It's about how he handles everything coming his way. If he loses again, many boxing fans might see it as the end of the road for him. De La Hoya didn't hold back, saying that if Devon doesn't perform, it's goodbye to the Haney name in boxing. On top of that, the legal battle with Ryan Garcia, Golden Boy, and the New York Athletic Commission has been a huge distraction. De La Hoya claimed the Haneys were ready to drop the lawsuit because they had no case, and that the only reason they're still in the spotlight is the possibility of a rematch with Ryan Garcia. But the real question is, does Devon want to be remembered as the guy who sued his opponent, or the guy who got back in the ring and took control of his career?
And Oscar De La Hoya, everybody out. Gennady Golovkin sued you, and Ryan Garcia Garcia threatened to sue you, and I don't need to sit down with you about nothing. I see you doing a lot of tweeting, but you ain't speaking. Maybe you somewhere tweaking. The lawsuit stands.
De La Hoya's comments weren't just about blaming Bill Haney, they were about Devon's future and what he needs to do to stay relevant in boxing. The big question is, will Devon listen? Will he take control of his career, or will he keep being guided by his father? The road ahead won't be easy, and the pressure is on. The feud between Bill Haney and Oscar De La Hoya is only getting more intense, and the back and forth isn't slowing down. Oscar has made it clear that he doesn't see any reason for Ryan Garcia to entertain a rematch with Devon Haney.
You ducking it, huh? Lupe, you done ducked it, huh? Yeah, you done ducked it. Yeah, y'all done ducked it. Stay quiet.
According to Oscar, Ryan has already done what he needed to do, and his one-sided win on April 20th should be the final word on their rivalry. Oscar is confident that Devon had his chance and blew it, so there's no reason to go back down that road. Instead, De La Hoya is pushing for a fight that he believes will bring excitement and money to the sport. Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo Lopez. Oscar's reasoning is simple. A matchup between Ryan and Teofimo has the potential to be huge. Both fighters have star power, and Ryan's social media following adds a unique element to any fight he's in. Despite Teofimo's loss to George Kambosos Jr., many fans still view him as a top-tier fighter. This fight could become a global event, drawing in massive pay-per-view numbers and giving fans the kind of action they crave. It's easy to see why Oscar is eager to move forward with this matchup. From a business perspective, it makes sense, but for Devon and Bill Haney, this isn't just about business. It's personal. They're not ready to let go of what happened last year, and the failed PED test from Ryan Garcia is something they've held on to and aren't letting fade away quietly. Bill and Devon have made it clear that the lawsuit against Ryan and Golden Boy Promotions isn't going anywhere for them. This fight isn't over until justice as they see it is served. While Oscar wants to focus on the future, the Haneys are determined to bring up the past in every conversation.
You know, obviously, we have to deal with this frivolous lawsuit that they slapped on us, but that's all it is noise. That's all it is. How can you sue somebody that beat the crap out of you? You know, it's like, it just doesn't make sense. And
Oscar, of course, isn't happy about this. He's concerned about what all this negativity could do to Ryan's image. Even if Ryan were to fight Devon again and win decisively, there's a chance the constant talk of the failed PED test could overshadow everything. Bill Haney knows how to make sure his voice is heard, and if the rematch happens, you can bet he'd remind everyone about the failed PED test in every interview. But remember when Ryan said there was good Bellatin boiling he did? That's not the kind of baggage Oscar wants Ryan carrying around as he continues to build his career.
Like it or not, the rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devon Haney would be one of the most watched rematches we've seen in modern day boxing.
If the rematch happens, of course, it's going to be so much money. But the negotiation sides of this fight are going to be through the roof. Devon Haney, he feels he got scammed. He fought against a dirty fighter. He's going to put so much stipulations in these contracts. Everything is going to be in his favor. I don't know if
Then there's the issue of trust. According to De La Hoya, there's something suspicious about how hard the Haneys are pushing for VADA testing. It doesn't look good and raises questions about their intentions. For Oscar, it feels like an unnecessary complication, one more reason why he believes a rematch isn't worth pursuing. He doesn't want to see Ryan dragged into more heat, especially when there are other exciting opportunities waiting for him in the sport.
Well, Oscar, you didn't get mad until your fighter, Ryan Garcia, got caught cheating. And then you started lying, saying that Devon ain't selling. Well, Oscar, you ain't sold since Canelo Alvarez, and he said you was bad business.
What about Devon Haney? For someone who's been so vocal about wanting another shot at Ryan, he hasn't exactly been making waves in the ring. His loss to Garcia was tough, and it seems like he struggled to bounce back. Critics have pointed out that Devon's performances lack the excitement that draws in fans. While he's undeniably skilled, he doesn't have the charisma or knockout power that gets people talking. It's his dad, Bill, who does most of the heavy lifting when it comes to promoting his fights. Without that, Devon's appeal seems to shrink. Oscar hasn't been shy about voicing his opinion on this, believing that Devon's time has passed and it's time for Ryan to move on to bigger and better things. In his eyes, Devon had his moment and didn't deliver, so there's no point in revisiting that fight when Ryan has the potential to headline massive events against other stars like Teofimo Lopez. For Oscar, the path forward is clear, and Devon Haney isn't part of it.
Teofimo Lopez Jr., you done went over there to the Cannon May show and you lying like every opportunity to fight, we put it.
Bill Haney isn't backing down, and his feud with Oscar is only getting more heated. Every statement from De La Hoya seems to make Bill respond even stronger, and it's clear this rivalry isn't going to end anytime soon. The lawsuits, social media jabs, and constant back and forth are only making things worse. Bill is determined to keep this fight alive, even if it's not in the ring. Meanwhile, Turki Al-Sheikh is reportedly working behind the scenes to make the rematch happen. This shows there are still people who think this fight is worth revisiting. If Turki can pull it off, it might bring new attention to the Devon Haney versus Ryan Garcia rivalry. But for now, Oscar is still opposed to the idea, and it's hard to see him changing his mind.
You guys are suing Ryan Garcia for battery?
Thanks.
You do know your son Devon is a professional fighter, right?
Thanks.
His livelihood is based on battering other opponents. This has to be the lamest claim I've ever seen in the 4 decades I've been involved in this.
What's fascinating about this situation is how personal it's become for Oscar. This isn't just about business. It's about protecting Ryan and making sure his career stays on the right path. For Bill, it's about standing up for his son and making sure that what he sees as an injustice doesn't go unanswered. Both men are fighting for what they believe in, and that's what makes this feud so compelling. It's not just a disagreement, it's a battle of principles, egos, and pride. While all this is happening, Bill Haney is doing everything he can to make the rematch between his son Devon Haney and Ryan Garcia happen. The first fight between these two took place in April 2024 and caused a lot of drama, leaving fans divided over what really went down.
I ask one question, is why would Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions receive $1 million in damages? What damages did they occur?
The buildup was already full of tension, but things really hit a boiling point when Ryan Garcia showed up more than 3 pounds over the 140-pound weight limit. That alone would have been enough to cancel most fights, but Devon agreed to go ahead anyway after Garcia paid a $1,500,000 fine. Even with that settled, there were concerns about Ryan's mental state leading up to the bout, and many wondered if he was truly ready for such a big moment. But when fight night came, Ryan shocked everyone. He dropped Haney 3 times during the fight and walked away with what should have been a career-defining victory by majority decision. However, that victory didn't last.
One of the fights that he definitely wants to see, and his priority this year, is obviously the rematch with Ryan Garcia. How does it feel for you to be able to hear that that's a priority for him?
It feels great because at the end of the day, that's a priority for me. There's a lot of unfinished business in that fight. So that's a fight that I think that has to happen sooner or later. And so
When it was later revealed that Garcia tested positive for O-sterine, a banned substance, the result was changed to a no contest. To make things worse, Ryan was slapped with a 1-year ban, sidelining him from the ring until April 2025. The aftermath was chaotic. Devon Haney didn't take it lightly and decided to take legal action, suing Garcia for breach of contract, fraud, and unjust enrichment. Ryan fired back with a countersuit, turning their rivalry into a full-blown feud that went far beyond the ring. Despite the legal drama, both fighters have hinted at being open to a rematch. However, Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan's promoter, seems to have other plans. De La Hoya has been vocal about wanting Ryan to face other opponents, like Teofimo Lopez or Gironinas. But Bill Haney is not ready to let that happen. For Bill, Devon's priority should be settling the score with Ryan. The situation has been tough for Devon. His brand has taken a serious hit since the first fight, and the controversy surrounding it has left him with fewer options. He has struggled to secure a high-profile opponent.
So you think he need a tune-up?
Definitely need a tune-up or two.
I think he should do a fight before. I know that's messing with his mental. That whooping you just took, whether he was off the PEDs or not, which he was, but still, like, the world saw you take that beat, and I feel like you need to get back in the ring. Stop giving that Ryan Garcia situation so much of your time. Let your lawyers and your management team deal with that.
On the other hand, Ryan's popularity has only grown, especially on social media, even with the failed test and suspension hanging over him. This makes the rematch a huge opportunity for both fighters, but especially for Devon, who needs a big fight to restore his standing. Bill Haney has been very clear about why the rematch needs to happen. He believes the fans deserve to see it and thinks Ryan Garcia's team, especially Oscar De La Hoya, is out of touch with what people want. Bill's frustration with De La Hoya is clear, as he blames the promoter for pushing other fights that don't have the same level of public interest.
And we know damn well he don't really want the rematch because he just claimed, I don't want no rematch. So there won't be no rematch. I beat the shit out of him. It was the easiest fucking fight I've ever had in my life. So I'm not going to fight him again. I felt like I was fighting an amateur. I made it look like he shouldn't even be in the ring with me. But if he wanted to do it again, I'm going to end him even worse because he's never going to be the same after the ass whooping. You take an ass whooping like that.
Devon is a champion, Ryan Garcia is not. Oscar De La Hoya hasn't been able to make a champion out of Ryan Garcia. Devon wants to fight whoever the people want to see, but he wants it to be on a level playing field. We do it for the people, they're the ones that pay the bills, not the promoters. If the fans want to see a fight, then there's a network that wants to put it on, Bill said. According to Bill, De La Hoya is ignoring the public's demand for the rematch and instead creating fake reasons why it isn't needed. But the real roadblock in making this fight happen lies in the terms. Devon Haney will likely demand a bigger purse this time because of how the first fight went and the legal issues that followed. He also wants extra guarantees that Garcia will make weight.
We spoke to Devon Haney as well on Fight Hub yesterday, and he mentioned how he's going to be back in March. Are you excited to see him back as someone in and around your division to be back fighting healthy again?
I think excited is like a strong word, but I'm interested. I want to see how he handles that traumatic experience that he went through and see how he bounced back.
This is a big issue since Ryan has already said he can't fight at 140 weights anymore. If the rematch happens at a higher weight, it could give Garcia an advantage, as his power tends to carry well into heavier weight classes. Devon, on the other hand, doesn't have the same kind of knockout power. Moving up in weight would put him at even greater risk against a fighter like Garcia, who has proven he can hurt opponents at any weight. That's why Bill is adamant about testing being a key part of the negotiations. He wants to make sure everything is fair and that there's no room for controversy like last time. The biggest thing is testing, he said. It was crazy.
He's Devon. He's a professional. He wants to be.
So if you were crazy enough to do it the first time, then you'll be crazy enough to do it a second time, Bill said, stressing that Ryan needs to enroll in a testing program. The power dynamics between the two camps are also a factor. Ryan Garcia sees himself as the bigger draw, and his massive social media following supports that claim, giving him leverage in negotiations. But Devon Haney and his team aren't likely to back down easily. Both fighters have egos that could get in the way, making it even harder to finalize a deal. At this point, it's unclear if the rematch will actually happen. The financial stakes are high and both sides have something to gain, but the legal and promotional hurdles are just as significant. For Ryan Garcia, a win in the rematch could help him move past the controversy and cement his status as one of the top names in boxing. For Devon Haney, it's about redemption and proving that he's the true champion.
That's the dream. Number one. There we go.
You hear that power, Oscar? You hear that power?
Oh, yeah.
While the two fighters and their teams continue to go back and forth, the fans are left wondering if they'll ever get to see the rematch they've been waiting for. It's interesting to see where this beef will take Oscar De La Hoya and Bill Haney, as both men seem determined to fight for what they believe is best for their fighters. What do you think? Share your thoughts below.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.